It's the Alabama Church Girl. So what's the topic for this week? Oh man, you're kidding me. The church folks have issues again? Well, you know I love you, but we gotta get it right. I'm PR for the preacher, publicist for the people. All right, Lord, you gotta be with me on this. I feel like Jeremiah. I know the people don't want to hear it, but it's like fire in my bones and I gotta let it out. Lord, when I open up my mouth, you speak for me. Let me have no fear of their faces. All right, y'all, here we go. Well, it's the Alabama Church Girl. Beep, beep, toot, toot. She's going live.
Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, good people, it's your Alabama church girl here. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. To all the leaders, saints, and friends, welcome, welcome, welcome on in. Tonight is going to be a wonderful taboo topic of the church. We're discussing, is politics your religion? Now, there's been a lot going on in politics on this past week, and that's not specifically what I want to discuss on this evening. But my intention on this evening is to challenge the mindset of the church, to challenge our behavior in the church, to challenge the oppressive mentality of today's Black church. Now, with that being stated, I do want to use that example of what happened in politics on this past week that is definitely mirroring what's happening in Black church today. So, right now, before we get started, I want you to go ahead and get your family and your friends on the line. Tell them to come on in. Tap, tap, tap your neighbor on the shoulder and say, hey, she's live. The Alabama Church Girl is live, and this is about to be a hot topic, taboo topic of the church on this evening. Go ahead and share this video, like it, and definitely subscribe if you're on YouTube. I would really appreciate your presence each and every Monday evening, 7 p.m. We're right here live talking taboo topics of the church. Now. What are we talking about on this evening? Is politics your religion? For some people, it's really become a political enterprise. So I look at the Black church on today. And when I'm discussing the church, I'm not talking about all churches. Somebody's gonna get offended, and I don't even think I want to apologize in advance. I'm just going to say that if my statements feel like offense to you, that was not the intention. The intention is really to challenge how we think in church, okay? I honestly am coming with the purest of hearts and with the cleanest hands, wanting to see Black church be better. What I see in today's age, I know we can be better than this. I've lived enough life. I've been here a couple of decades where I got enough memory. I've stored enough knowledge, and I've observed enough to understand that we definitely can be better than this. Now, if you're coming on in the chat, make sure you're dropping your church emojis, letting the Alabama church girl know, hey, I'm here in the congregation live and in color. But I have enough knowledge. I've observed church long enough to really have a valuable conversation about where we are, where we stand. I have made a commitment since really 2019 to stay out of politics. And let me tell you, I come from a family, well, my mother in particular was very much so embedded in the political process and wanted us to definitely participate in the political process. So at one point, I think my mom stated when she went off to college, she really wanted to be a political writer at some point. So she definitely was watching all of the things that concern politics. And she never really told us how to believe and which party to participate in or anything like that, but we always had conservative church views, of course, raised up in a very strict religious home. So of course the black church has been um, definitely sharing the same values of the conservative parties. So, with that being stated, I grew up paying close attention. And even in my adulthood, I adopted that process of paying close attention to what was happening in politics. Although we don't think that it directly impacts our day to day life, it actually does, especially your local politics. So I have adopted that mindset to pay attention. But things started taking a very negative and toxic turn. Um, 2016, 17, 18, and I started noticing my own response to that toxic turn. And I just made a decision for myself. Hey, stay out of it. I don't want to participate in any party because all of it is just too much for my spirit to handle and be satisfied. I started getting too emotionally engaged, and um, I want to support certain candidates and then see them support certain behaviors that I didn't approve of. I don't. That's not my thing. So I decided that I would just stay out of what politics was going on. I don't want to see it. I made it my business to stop watching the news on any station, on any platform. If I wanted to know what was happening in the day, I honestly I started watching news from other countries so that if I got my information regarding what was happening right here in the US of A, it was secondhand information from another country's perspective, because the I felt like the perspective of the news outlets right here were too biased for me. And I don't want anybody to tell me how to think. Now, I don't mind you giving me information and feeding my brain to challenge me to think. And that's exactly what the Alabama Church Girl is doing with the conversations that we're having week to week. I want to give you the information and challenge you to think. I challenge you to go and read, explore, find out, for yourself. Read and know for yourself. Understand for yourself in all thy getting. Make sure you get an understanding for yourself. But I bring the conversation to just challenge. And that's what I want from a journalist, to just bring me the information, give me the facts, and let my mind decipher. Let my spirit discern what is true, what is actual, what is factual, and which way I should take regarding and how I should govern myself, govern my life concerning that information. So, with that being stated, when things were happening in the political process on this past week and the news got to me from several different outlets, um, I have been accustomed to listening to different bloggers on YouTube. And even the bloggers were talking about it. um Different countries, news outlets that I listened to, they were talking about what was happening. And of course, I never did turn the cable news networks on to check it out for myself, but I heard enough from different scholars and different outlets to understand what actually happened. And I just, because I didn't witness it for myself, it gave my mind an opportunity to play that imaginary game. Let me go and draw this picture for myself. And when I drew that picture for myself, I saw a lot of similarities of what I know to be happening in the Black church. That's why I asked the question: is politics our religion? Is it your religion? I understand it's not mine. But it, because we are playing this game in the church, is politics your religion? We know, um and to use the example of what happened in the House of Representatives this past week, everybody in the whole US of A, I believe, had a good understanding that 9 times out of 10, the powers that be And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I'm just speaking what my decades of observation have shown me. 9 times out of 10, we all knew that this system and the powers that be were not going to let a black man be the Speaker of the House. And they definitely were not going to let, and because it's happened, we've seen the backlash of us having a black man be our president of the United States. There has been a backlash because of it, and it has been very detrimental. Lives have been lost um, after this backlash. Ooh, look at that Freudian slip. But lives have been lost. We saw what happened in the streets with the BLM movement just a couple of years ago. We saw what happened on January 6th, 2020, I believe, with the insurrection. We understand that there's a backlash after a black man being in leadership, in power. So there's no way that the powers that be were going to let that happen. Now, there is a code of conduct and a way that is understood. It might not be law. It might not be printed in law, but it's definitely impressed upon the culture of how Black people are to move about this society. So there's I just don't see the powers that be saying that, hey, this given this much power, that the speaker is given this much power that they can, call people out on their lies. They have the opportunity to bring their eloquent speeches here and really show the mediocrity of others and or show the ignorance of the code of conduct of the day. I don't think that they were going to let this black man, not just a man of color, this black man come down that aisle, march down that aisle, and take the microphone and obtain that much power. But what I do see is that we have a lot of black men that are qualified. We do. We do. But there are also a lot of black men that take a bitter perspective, and they'll take that moment into the pulpit to obtain that power. And I see this, I see it, I see it, I see it in so many different churches. We see preachers who really do have a gift of gab. They really do possess leadership qualities, but their emotions are not disciplined enough to handle the power that comes with that platform and that pulpit and that microphone. They have the gift of gab. They really do research and study the word. They become great wordsmiths of the word, but they don't have the emotional discipline to be able to handle people properly. And what I see is because of that, there's been a lazy approach to how the processes of church have been executed. Instead of following the Spirit of God on how to uh, establish order and direction and really hone in on leadership in the Black church, we've just taken our directions from what the politics of the day has shown us. The politics of the day shows us that there's a system of hierarchy, and we go and take that system and put it in place in the church. When it wasn't God's design. It was never the design of the Black church from the beginning. We know that there is a system that is oppressive to women and children, and we take that system and we put that inside the Black church. We do. We make it the order of the church because we see it demonstrated in the politics of the day. We know that there is a system in our society that is very evil and vile and has the most egregious behaviors concerning the LGBTQ community. And guess what? We take that, we adapt that, and we place that in the governance structure of the church. And that was not God's plan. It never was. If we really believe the word that we preach, if we really believe in the Jesus that we talk about, and that we want people to, what would Jesus do, display the same behaviors of, then we would know that Jesus came. That's who Jesus came to serve: the disenfranchised, the marginalized, the people that were cast away out of society. Those are the ones that Jesus came for. So why are we taking these same systems and putting them into the church to govern the church in this manner? So that's why I ask, is politics your religion? Because the black church, in its inception, there would be no black church if there was no hatred of black people. There would be no black church if there was no segregation from the main society. There would be no black church. All of us could worship together if there was no need for social justice. So, with that being said, in the onset of black church, there has always been a social justice initiative. And the black church of today, from what I see right here in Alabama, and I'm sitting here in the capital city, I have done my due diligence to travel around and check out all these different churches and see what's going on in each house. Now, when I was young, I wasn't given and afforded that opportunity to check out different church houses. But now that I am old, I put away childish things and I'm going shopping. I'm shopping around and see what, hey, who's actually doing and providing the need that I have for out of a church? Who's actually providing the need that I have out of a pastor? Who's actually providing the need that I have out of a leader? And what I'm noticing is we we have a lot of good churches when it comes to the building looks pretty. The congregation is substantial. We have great musicians. We have great services, and we have a formula and order and structure of our church that we follow to the T. You know, we've I came out of Pentecostal church where we stayed in church for hours and hours and hours and hours. Well, church of today, even in the Pentecostal church, and my home church has come to a place where we can have an hour and a half service and go on home and have brunch with your family and enjoy family time. We're coming back at 5 o'clock for another service and staying all night. Children can actually get their homework done at night. You know, we've evolved when it comes to those matters, but we also have preachers and pastors and leaders and laymen alike that really feel that church is there to control the behavior of people. And that has never been God's design. I read in the book, God saying, choose ye this day. There has always been a choice given to the people, free will given to the people. Now, what I'm here to do is to guide you. Children of Israel, they were guided by God. They were not instructed, they were not commanded, they were not demanded to do anything. God guided them with a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by the day. Now, it was up to them if they were going to choose ye this day to follow that guidance. Okay? So why is it that, we have leadership in this day and age, all the way in our big grown age in 2023, as a church, as a body, we have grown up, but we have not matured. We have lost our first mission, which is the social justice initiative of the day. That to me is why I don't think that the young people, the millennials, the Gen X's, and even the Gen Z's want to participate in the church process, because they're like, listen, if your God don't care about what's happening to my life, if your God don't feel this anxiety that I feel, I thought your Bible said that the God that you serve can feel the infirmities of my heart. And now you're telling me, overlook that, cross that over, and just come on in and give me all your money. No, ma'am, no, sir. That's not what I'm gonna do. If I have to align myself with the BLM movement that is more concerned about what's happening to me in these streets, that's where my alignment and my allegiance is going. That's where my money will go and support, because they are concerned about what's happening with me. So church, when are we going to get back to that place where we're really concerned about what's happening to Black people in the general society? Why are we more concerned about what's happening to people in their bedrooms and who's in and out? I mean, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing messages preached about that. I am. I'm honestly, it does not matter. It does not matter because we have, as a people, no heaven or hell to put people in. If there is an afterlife that's judging who's in and out the bedroom, let the afterlife judge that. But in this life, in this dispensation of life, I want my leadership to be concerned about what's happening to me right now. I am a mother that has a Black son, and I'm very concerned about what happens to him when he leaves out of these doors every single day. I'm really concerned. The anxiety is high. And then I don't know if something does have happen to him. Do I support? Is there a community that I'm aligned with that supports the justice of my Black son? And if not, then why am I aligned? Why? Come on, let's break it all the way down. If you have friends, we're going to use that word loosely, who never support your business, do you really consider them friends? They never bought anything. They never even opened their mouth to even tell anybody that you had a business. They never even are concerned about supporting, coming over. Hey, can I come and fill some bags for you? Do you need me to, help you get some shipments out today? But that's your friend, right? They never come over to support. They never come out to support. They never even post your flyer. That's free, but they never do anything for you. Then how can you consider that your friend? That's more of an associate, right? And that's why our Black people of today are just have an association with the church, but not a deep relationship. Because is politics your religion? Because if you really notice what's happening to the general public, they are really getting away from politics. The general public is saying, nah, this is what's killing us. Politics don't care about us. Politics still views us as commodity. We are living in a capitalist society, and the commodity of the day has always been, I don't want to talk about too much about my country, but we all know that our ancestors built this country for free. And the bodies of our ancestors have always been commodities. And any generation that comes behind it will be viewed as commodity. And I ain't just talking about my ancestors. I mean, I got other ethnicity in the family. I could talk about their ancestors as well being viewed as commodities. But specifically, the Black church has Black bodies. So that's why we're over in this Black lane, okay? So with that being stated, politics views me as a commodity. And I don't want to walk into the house of God and feel that pastor that's in that pulpit preaching hard, sweating, spitting all over the microphone only views me as a commodity. How can I be used to bring in more tithes and offering? Do you know me? If I died today, could you really say some valuable words about my personality and my character over my body? Could you really eulogize me from personal knowledge, or would you get up and give your generic funeral sermon? I'm just asking. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, cousin. Hey, husband. I'm just asking that, when it comes to the great resignation in the church, we have to question, what are we doing wrong? Why are we getting it wrong? How are we getting it wrong? And this is something that, I really want us to take heed to. That people don't want that. They don't want another political organization. They really do want a spiritual experience. Now, if I were to go back into history and go back into time a little bit, I understand that, like I said, I have a couple of decades under my belt of observation for myself, but I know that there was time that came before me. So in order to really place myself correctly and properly on the timeline, I got to go do some history and do my research on what happened before I got here. And in doing my research, I find that specifically Alabama, and this is why I'm on Alabama black churches butts right now, is because specifically in Alabama, we had the Black Panther Party started in church. We had the greatest civil rights movement that the world has ever known start right in black church, right in Alabama, just a few miles away from me. And how is it that we've gotten so far away from that movement in just 2 or 3 decades? What in the world happened? And from what I see, it's the 501c3. We've been bought with a price. The church has definitely been bought with a price. But it ain't the blood of God. It ain't the blood of Jesus. It's the 501c3 that bought you with a price. Now, after the 1960s, 1970s in specific, then you see the rise of the mega churches. You see the rise of the prosperity preachers. You see the evangelists that want to fill the house and have these tent revivals and have all these people that gather, give, gather. I remember being a young girl with the because we didn't have cable growing up in my mama house. That's nothing but a sin and a scandal. So no, we didn't have cable, but we did have access to the Word Network and what was it, PBS, and I recall all those call in now for the prayer line. I remember that. Them always accepting donations for the prayer cloths and the oil and the little bitty vials, or sending your money for a mustard seed. Do y'all know how small a mustard seed is? And you want $100 for me to give you? You want me to send you $100 to get a mustard seed, or send in the money for the Bible covers? And I mean, they asking outrageous numbers for the smallest little token because it was a game. And then have y'all watched the documentary on Miss Cleo? It was the same type of game being ran in the psychic network. It's a scam. It's a game. But the 501c3 keep you covered. You can do the scam. You can play the game. You don't got to pay no taxes on it. And guess what? The government is not going to ask you to be transparent with the people because you've been bought with a price. How can you, church, black church, align yourself with the social justice initiative of the day when the 501c3 has bought your silence? You can't. So when something happens, our people the community goes unprotected because the leadership has really aligned themselves with politics and is in politics so deep that you can't help. You can't. You lose your whole livelihood because you've been bought. I'm just saying. Somebody is saying, touch not my anointing. I hear you. Do my prophet no harm. Well, listen. If the dog got hit, let him bark. Let him holler. It is what it is. From what I see, black church ain't doing nothing different than what a lot of politicians are doing. The processes of politics. That situation with the House of Representatives, I saw where they said that the person that actually got the position gave up all his power just so he can have the position and the title. And I want to challenge your mind to think about this, that a lot of leaders in the house of God, 22BB, A lot of leaders in the house of God have given up their access to spiritual power because all they really wanted was the title and the position. If I hold a position, then I'll get all the glory. But like Saul, Saul walking around here, he got the title, he got the power, or he got the position, but ain't no power there. He needs Samuel. Come on, prophet. You come out here and stand with me so the people will think that God's still with me. We're playing games like that in church. We are. And what's sad is that the book already showed us this. If we just read the book, Black people, who was it? Malcolm X that said if you want to keep anything from Black people, put it in a book. He wasn't lying because we won't read it. We won't study. Read the book. It's already, there's nothing new under the sun. When Jesus came, the Romans had very political hands on all people. And they had established an hierarchy. They had established a caste system that denigrated certain people and then uplifted others. I'm glad we here, cousin. We on one accord. But the Romans had already established a caste system that pushed away certain people in the community and uplifted others. And that's why when Jesus came, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what's due Caesar. Pay them taxes. That's why I feel that church needs to start paying taxes so they can be held accountable. But pay your taxes. Do what you're supposed to do. Obey the laws of the land. But at the same time, you're going to take care of these widows. That's not what I want my people to do. I came to seek and to save those that are lost. I came out here for the man that's in the street. I came out here for the ones that are homeless. I came out here for these children. And if your heart doesn't get humble as this little child, don't even come up in my presence. That's how Jesus was. Some would even argue that Jesus was a socialist. If you go back to the inception of the church in general, in the Bible, Acts 2, I believe it's 47. If you go to the book says that when they came together as one people on one accord, they shared all things. The rich and the poor shared all things, that none among them lacked anything because they took care of each other. They were a society of people that understood that I need you just as much as you need me. There is something that you have to offer no matter how rich you are or how poor you are. It's community. And then if you study African history and the African people who we come from, African Americans, it's our nature to be community, be in communion with one another. If you go and look at the African societies in different countries and different cultures in African society, they don't have nursing homes where they put their parents away after a certain age because they believe in community. That a lot of families stay all in the same house. Just make the house bigger. Let the children stay. Let the grandbaby stay. Why? Because it's best if they're nurtured in a multi-generational community. Everybody is needed. Everybody is needed. None are put away. And if it's our nature to be in community, how did we get to a place where individuality has become our precedent? How? Is politics our religion? Have we committed ourselves to capitalism so deeply that I don't care about the next man? Let that man pull himself up by the bootstraps because I got to get mine. Is that what Jesus would do? Is that what Jesus would do? I'm just asking. We lose all sense of humanity. Like, we don't really care about people. Like, it baffles me. Now, I have to say, personally, I'm an empath. I really am. So I care about folk a little bit too hard sometimes. I don't even want to watch horror movies on TV because I'm concerned about if that person that just lost their life on TV, yeah, I know they're actors, but I'm concerned if, hey, did they make it? Did they get it right with God? What about their children? How will their mama feel? That's how my heart works. And I understand that not everybody's heart is as deep as mine, but do you have a heart at all? Is there any blood flowing and pumping through it? Like some people, it baffles me. They see death happening and it's like, oh, well, sorry for them. Like, what? That's life. That's life. That's someone's life. That's not just a commodity. And that's where I'm like, leaders, what are we doing here? Is politics your religion? Are you so deeply ingrained and committed to patriarchy? Are you so committed to capitalism? Are you so committed to a hierarchy? I mean, there are still churches to this day that do not respect women on the same spectrum that they respect men. There are still people in church who don't believe children have a voice at all. Sit down, shut up, and when I say move, you move. When I say jump, you jump. What? When did we become slave masters? Because that's how we treat our own people. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not effective. It's counterproductive. These are not tactics that we should have taken on. If we gain anything from our American heritage, why can't we take the best of our society, our American heritage? Because we do have that as well. But why are we taking the worst of what this heritage has to offer? I don't understand. Is politics your religion? We have always known that politics has not been profitable. Not for us. It has not. It has not. And it took the church to enact civil disobedience in order for us to gain any type of footing in the political process. Do you not remember? Politics and law didn't even consider us people. We weren't human to them. We were only 3/5 of, and that was only so they could be counted, so that we could be counted to help their political process. So why would we want to take that heritage and put it into the church, which is supposed to be our sanctuary? It's supposed to be our safe haven. I see preachers getting up in the pulpit and enacting political pulpit lynchings. They talk about people so violently and vile. Your own parishioners. And then you got people in the pews clapping it up. Yes, pastor. Anything the pastor said, why do we glorify the pastor? I mean, I really don't want to hear anybody else talking about Bubba on the backside of Bessemer, Alabama with no teeth, who is strongly supporting 45, who didn't want him to have any medical benefits. I don't want to hear that. Because the same way Bubba glorified 45 to the point of he will be loyal until the death of him, is the same way some of our people in church pews are glorifying their pastor. You will glorify him until the death of you. Why is it that your pastor is not concerned that the majority of his congregation is overweight and dying? Year by year, he's funeralizing diabetes and heart problems. Why are we not taking that up as a concern for the people? Even if he, and then even if he's not bold enough to become a social justice activist, which not everybody is, but I will say this: God don't need no coward soldiers, and if that ain't the truth, then stop singing it in the congregation. But why can't he be bold enough to say this is our initiative for our household? We are going to be more healthy. Why is it that our children are still so far behind when it comes to education? It's not enough that we got one or two that can attain higher education or can attain the valedictorian, can attain the summa cum laudes and the magna cum laudes. It's not enough. It's not enough. Because when I look at the word, when I go back to the word and I see how Daniel and the Hebrew boys were preserving and committed to God so much, they didn't take on the king. They didn't eat from the king's table. They didn't. They didn't take on the rituals of the community that they were placed in. They were taken out of their homeland and placed in another land where they had to serve the people and serve the king. But Daniel held on to his culture. The Hebrew boys held on to their culture. They honored their God in the way that they knew how. And when the time came to test whether they, the Hebrew boys, were better than the ones that they were put in the community with, they always came out supreme. They reigned supreme. See, what we have come accustomed to is our community taking the top one of us and giving them big contracts and a lot of dollars and a lot of digits in their bank account to where now they feel they no longer need to serve the community. I'm just saying, Dion, come on in the room. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's religion. It's politics, your religion. But we do that to each other. So it's not enough. That why are our children still so far behind in education? Do we not understand that even the education system in our American heritage was founded in the Black church? Elementary school started in Black church. I have parents that can tell me stories about how they went to school at church before they ever went to a schoolhouse or a building. And even when they were afforded the opportunity to go to the building, it was so subpar that they felt better off staying with the teachers that were at the church. But the church of today, what are we doing? What are we doing? Children's church has just become a place where the kids, they socialize and they get prizes and they have bouncy houses. Y'all, I'm an avid reader. I can show you a stack of books that I just got from the library today. I love to read. But I will be lying if I told you that I only learned to love to read from my mama and my schoolhouse. Lies. Sunday school played a major role in me loving to read because my Sunday school teacher made us read out loud. And thank God he blessed me with a voice. And to hear my own voice speak these words off this page just made me love to do it and love to know stories and love to find out information. I am very nerdy. It's just the truth. But I appreciate my Black church experience that helped me get to this place. It shaped who I am to this day. I am not here to persecute anyone with my words. I'm not. That's not my intention. Like I said, my intention is to challenge our thought pattern, to challenge our behavior. Let's change up our format. Because if we don't, we're definitely I recall one of my uncles asking, I share this over and over again, it's the black church is a sinking ship. And I thought that, when he said that, I was like, David, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Today I'm gonna take his head off. But when I started doing my research and I went to go look for me some smooth stones to take his head off, I found out, oh no, he's telling the truth. It's sinking. That it's holes in the ship. And if we don't get to work patching it up and doing what's right and get ready to take God's people to the next level, we're going to find ourselves deep in some waters. I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer, but I am a truth seeker and a truth teller. Is politics your religion, Black Church? The people want to know. When we're going to discuss. So go ahead and mark on your calendars. I want to discuss on January 30th, Monday night, January 30th. I want to discuss the Lowndes County documentary. It's on Peacock TV. And I've already watched it, so I'm so eager to discuss this doggone documentary. But I want to give everyone an opportunity to watch it. It's on Peacock TV. And if you don't have Peacock, you can actually download the movie, the documentary. I think it's like $4.99 or $5.99 if you just want to watch the documentary. But it's a good watch. It's called Lowndes County, The Road to Black Power. And it shows, it gives a depiction of how the Black Panther Party was started. But it also shows how church played a very foundational role in the civil rights movement. And all the things, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm almost about to spill my beans now. But all the things that I saw in that movement is in direct contradiction to how I see church processes enacted today. We can't have, God never had a respecter of persons. So we can't have a respecter of persons. We can't be picky about, we gonna rock with this person because they look like and they're acting like and they're saying all the right things. But because that one over there is dressed like this and they come from this and they ain't got this, we can't rock with them. We can't be like that because we need every single person. On this journey, we need every single person. I don't know why we thought that, somehow we made it. When we still see so many injustices in our society. I don't know why we think we made it. Just because you're in a bigger house with a nicer car don't mean that danger is not in the water. It's there still, baby. You just in danger in your Tesla. It's there. And if the church can't be the safe haven, if the church can't be the sanctuary, then where? Is it in our home? Somebody said, well, you can do it. You can have your sanctuary in the home. And that's why people are staying at home. See how that works? You can have that. You're supposed to have that spiritual connection with God on your own. Okay. And that's why people say, well, I don't need the church. What do I need? Because the church is honestly the gathering of the people in community is no different from a social organization. We took the spirituality out. We took, y'all, I don't mean to be deep, but I am. We took the spirituality out and we have replaced it with entertainment. We have so many more churches that, want to stray away from, the prophetic word coming through in service. We stray away from the ATR style of religion, the African traditional religion style. There's so many churches that are straying. Oh, that's too much emotionalism over there. But we replace it with the entertainment factors. We have all the lights. We have the best singers in the city. We have the best musicians from around town, and our pastor has the best hoop, and we got the good numbers. But where is the spirit that's leading and directing his people? Because God has always had a word for his people. How do you think that Moses came about? How do you think a Moses came that told Pharaoh, let my people go? Then we're talking about it. It frustrates me. This is where I got frustrated and dropped out of the political situations. It would frustrate me to hear commentators, especially black commentators on the news, arguing with people about having reparations, or arguing with people about the schools not wanting to teach critical race theory, when we need to be doing that for ourselves. The word told us to teach our children in our homes. Don't let them ever forget how I brought you out. Did you think that was only the Passover experience? How many other times has God brought his people out? So now we want someone else, them, to teach our children about the civil rights experience that we experienced? Do you think them that were oppressive to the us is going to teach our children the correct and accurate truth? So why are we arguing with people about it? It's asinine to me. I got frustrated. Reparations. Did we not read the book? When the children of Israel crossed that Red Sea, they brought goods with them, and gold, and the finest. So that was a social justice initiative that brought them across the sea. I'm just saying, it's in the book. We just got to read it, and read with understanding. In all of our getting, get understanding. God didn't change. God has not changed. We have. And I don't know if we've changed to our detriment. It appears. I love church. I do. But I also love living life to my fullest. I'm at a place in this life, in my life, at this big age, I can't let the politics of church define how I live my life. I know I love God, and I don't need your validation. So if you don't want me to live my life out loud and come and sit in your pews and participate, then I won't. I won't. Because I have a healthier relationship with God on my own. I got communion cups right here. We do prayer regularly in the house. I come to the church for fellowship and community. And I come looking for a community that is concerned about me. And if politics is what I'm going to get and not community, why do I need to come? So to the church, and to the leadership of the church, to the laymen of the church who are loyal to the end to your leadership of the church, I ask you, is politics your religion? And with that being stated, I want to remind you that on January 30th, we will be discussing the documentary on Lowndes County, The Road to Black Power. Please go and look that up. Please go watch the documentary so that we can discuss it in detail. I can't wait. Y'all, it was so good. I think I watched it like 3 times back to back. It was so good. It tells the story of how Black people, rural Black people that didn't even have running water and electricity in their house, came together to make change. They made that happen out of Alabama, the poorest county in Alabama. They set a standard that changed the whole nation. I can't wait to talk about it. And it started in the church. Hallelujah. See, I felt the ring shout right there. Woo! Hallelujah. Anywho, I look forward to seeing you. Make sure you're telling your family and your friends to come on over here and get on in on this taboo topic and these conversations each and every Monday night, 7 p.m. I want to see you back. I want to see you back. All right. I appreciate you coming in, cousin. We will see you back on next week. Love you. Love God and love your families. Mwah! Bye.